Oh, hi there. Welcome to Chats with Cool Cats. I'm your host, Aiden Morgan, and today we're going to be talking about some baseball. Now, hey, don't worry, I see you hesitating. If you are not a baseball fan or don't know a lot about baseball, we're going to keep it general for you, and we're going to hold your hand and guide you. Here today to talk about these great topics today are my two guests, the first guests ever on Chats with Cool Cats.
Coast.
It's Connor Langle and Nick Weber. Please give them a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
I'm
thank
so
you, Aiden.
thrilled.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited.
Thank you.
I'm so thrilled to start this new adventure with you guys, and looking forward to the future.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to get deep into this conversation. Let's tackle baseball.
Let's go. So let's start it off with, why do you guys like baseball? What draws you to the sport of baseball more than, say, basketball or football?
Well, people say, take a baseball player, put him in any sport he competes. Take a football player, put him against a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. He won't touch it.
No shot.
Not a chance.
Also the bonds, like me and Nicholas here.
Debatable, but other than that, probably the fact that you can be just about any shape or size to play baseball. It doesn't matter. You don't got to be big like you have to be for football
Brody.
and basketball. I mean, look at Connor here. He's barely grazing 5'6", and I'm barely grazing 150 pounds, but we're both on the varsity team, so
That's
it doesn't
a great
matter.
point, Nick.
I'm actually 5'5".
With shoes on, 5'6", however.
With shoes, I am 5'6". It's the actual information.
I mean, that's a great aspect about the sport of baseball, right? I mean, you rarely see people under, like 5'9"? I mean, you got
Well,
like
Jose
Derek
Altuve,
Sproles.
who's a cheater. He
Oh,
we'll
we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Hold
later.
on,
there,
We'll get into
folks.
that
Hold
later.
on.
But
We're not there yet.
But
Okay. So let's get into our first topic of the day. And, sometimes I read, right? Sometimes we all read.
What do you like?
what are you reading?
I like to read books.
Well, yes, but what?
Sometimes I'll read different books. It all depends.
Different. Okay.
But sometimes I read the comments on Instagram, and sometimes that can be
There's a lot of
vile
bots on
place. There are bots.
A lot of bots.
They're
Social
getting-
media is a
they're getting
toxic
better.
place.
It is. But I like to read comments, and a lot of people on baseball posts like to say that baseball isn't a sport. And they really cite two things. One is the idleness and stationary aspect of the game. Many times players stand in the outfield for a long time. Sometimes they don't even get the ball hit towards them. And even if they do get one or two balls a game, that's still 25 plays that the players aren't involved in the games. They also point to the unathleticism of some of the players. I love him. I think he's the GOAT, but Bartolo Colon is heavily criticized for his weight. And other players such as Pablo Sandoval and who's the guy in the Twins?
Williams Astudillo,
Yeah,
La Tortuga.
Otherwise known as Bartolo Jr. He's a little bit on the chubby side.
He hustles. He scoots.
He does.
He gets going.
I think personally they're athletic, but a lot of people don't. Those are just two of the things that people cite for having baseball not as a sport. But Connor, I'll let you lead off. Why, or what do you consider baseball to be, a sport or maybe a game?
Well, Aiden, I value a sport as anything that keeps you busy or something that you love. A physical activity which you love to do and brings joy to others. Now, baseball can be viewed as a non-physical sport, but I've had 2 surgeries. It's physical. Nicholas, knee surgeries.
I've also had 2, yes.
Nicholas, what do you think?
I mean, I think that's what makes baseball interesting is that you can have guys that, I don't know, might otherwise not be able to move as well as they would on a basketball court, but still be effective on the field. But, I mean, like I said earlier, you can be any shape or size and still be effective.
You could be a square.
Could be a square.
Good at baseball.
Could be a twig. Still be effective.
That's true.
Great insight. Thank you, guys. So that brings us into our second topic of the day. So, fellas, let's get into the time machine. And let's go back to the year 1937.
World War II.
Before World War II, actually.
Pre-World War II.
This was the first year that Gallup conducted their poll on which sport in America do people like the most. And, not surprisingly, baseball got 34% of the votes, football got 23%, And soccer got a measly 8%. Oh no.
Soccer.
No one likes soccer. Basketball also got 8%. Let's go basketball. So let's flash forward to 1948. Baseball's still on top. They got 39% of the votes. Football's declining a little bit. Oh no, they got 17. Basketball's slowly rising, 10%. So let's go to 1972. Well, you would expect baseball to be on top, right? No. It's football, guys. Football. 38% of the American people like football the most. Baseball drops all the way down to 19%. Can you believe it? Basketball at 10%. So this is the first kind of indicator that baseball is on the decline in America. America's favorite pastime, not anymore.
At the point it stands. Pastime.
So they did conduct more surveys, but it really stayed the same. Baseball second, football first. That is until 2017. Here, it's very interesting. Football, 37%. Basketball, 11%. Baseball, 9%. So in a matter of around 80 years, we went from baseball to being far and above the most popular sport in America to now baseball being the third most popular sport. People still consider it America's pastime, but apparently not. And soccer is also on the rise at 7%. So soccer might be supplanting baseball soon.
Come on.
So this is problematic because as a fan of baseball, I hate to see the game and sport I love to be on the decline and people not really caring about it anymore. And I actually don't really know why. So, Nick, why don't you lead us off? Why do you think baseball is losing popularity?
I mean, it's easy to point to. It's just the length of the game. 9 innings takes, 3 hours easily. You go to extras, you get to 4. No one wants to sit around for a 3-hour event. That's just way too long. But, that's just how it is. Especially with the new pitching strategies that are going on. Like, managers like Joe Madden are switching, like they're using specialists, like a lefty specialist, and it takes 5 to 8 minutes for a pitcher to warm up. So he's bringing in 3
They
different guys.
gotta walk all the way from the bullpen, and you gotta get the
throw your 8 to get
pitches.
warm.
Yeah.
And you switch out like 2 or 3 pitchers an inning, and that takes 5 to 8 to warm up. So you're having like half hour, half innings, and
It
just adds
to be
up.
fair, the league has been taking steps. They're kind of limiting how many players you can.
They have that new proposed rule that they're thinking about implementing.
The time.
Well,
The time's already instituted, isn't it?
In the minor leagues, it is.
Oh, okay.
Well, the pitch clocks and all that. I was more referring to they've proposed if you bring in a reliever, they have to face 3 batters minimum before they can be taken out, and that was proposed within the last year, and I think that would definitely put some players out of business because some players are like lefty specialists.
Yeah.
Their job is to
that
come in.
lefty on lefty matchup. It's very advantageous towards the pitcher, because if you've got a righty on lefty. I'm sure you guys can attest to it. It's easier.
It's easier to hit a fastball, or not a fastball, like a slider or a breaking ball coming towards you.
It's breaking into you.
It's breaking towards you instead of breaking away.
You can see it come towards your bat. It's a lot easier to hit.
But yeah, I think that would that's some people's job, just to come in and get their out, then leave, and they get paid $1 million a year to do that. But yeah, that's one of the ways the MLB has been trying to shorten the amount of time the games are.
Connor, what are your thoughts? Why is Major League Baseball lagging behind, say, the NFL or NBA?
Well, there's many different standpoints you can take on this one, different routes you can take too. For me, I'm going to say social media has a little input on this as well. Because social media makes this generation more, they want things now, they want things fast. Where in baseball, it's 20 seconds between each pitch. And a pitch can either result in another pitch or a base hit or a ground out. Not the excitement that people want. Also, people compare it to football, how it's so much boring, but baseball actually has a faster pitch to play ratio than football does to play to snap, or snap to play. But there's more excitement between each snap between football than there is with baseball. So that's what I think.
And I think it's really interesting because really since the 1930s, baseball as a sport really hasn't changed. It's the same game. You throw the same pitches. you hit it in the same spots. There's the same 9 people, same 9 positions. You can't really say the same thing about the NBA and NFL. I mean, you look at 80 years ago, they're completely different games. I mean, the NFL, you don't got the forward pass. The NBA, the three-point shot has really revolutionized the game. Maybe that's a positive to the MLB because people like consistency. They like the same thing and they like to know what they're getting. But also the game isn't evolving, and it's not evolving, like you said, to the current generation, and maybe that's leaving some people behind.
Yeah, to touch on the basketball standpoint about the 3-pointers, I played in a rec game last night. We lost 69-23.
Nice.
69, nice.
I had 4 points though. My collegiate career is very bright right now. But
Hey, how many offers you got?
don't worry about it.
He's trying.
Anyway,
I'm sure he got lost.
Anyway,
He's
here.
having fun.
The main point is my team sucks. That's what happens. We get down the court, everybody just goes around the arc, the 3-point line, just stand there. Nobody charges, they just stand there. I'll charge and they'll just pop a 3, hit the net, and just airballs it every time. But it's just people to see that Steph Curry popping 3s from like the half-court line. That's what they want to do.
It's exciting.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think that's another thing about other sports. Nobody ever says, "Oh, want to go play a pickup game of baseball." They're like, "Oh, let's go shoot hoops or I don't know, play some football in the yard." Mm-hmm. No one's like, "Oh, let's just get a baseball game going or whatever." I mean, that doesn't happen since I don't know people made The Sandlot, however old that movie is. But yeah, no one. It's just not a sport you can really just pick up. It's more something you got to work towards and just like repetitively over and over. You got to have some sort of passion for it to enjoy it.
To add on what you said about the similarities that baseball's had throughout its entire more than a century-long career, is that I've studied like hitters and like how they hit and hit analysis and all that. I've had books and pictures of their swings and their double triangle legs when they swing, the power they transfer.
Triangle.
Yeah, like see right here is a triangle between his.
He's Don Mattingly here.
The man's the goat.
Donnie Baseball is an example.
Yankees are superior. Anyway.
We'll get to that.
Okay. Anyway, but from like Javier Baez to Don Mattingly, their swings are the exact same. They're on the top of their toe. They're driving through the ball. Every part of their body is the same as it was 100 years ago as it is today. Everything from the equipment has changed. The way people work and they practice has changed, but the game itself is the same.
How you play the game is the same as you did, like you said, 150 years ago.
I think they're focusing on different kinds of analytics though today because you don't see a guy get drafted because he can spot up a changeup. It's can he hit 98 on the radar gun and come in throwing flames out of the bullpen. That's what they're looking for. I mean that's one thing baseball has that's exciting, that's new, is that people are throwing harder and harder. I mean everyone out of the bullpen is throwing 95 plus at least. I mean there's that guy on the Cardinals who's throwing
102,
100,
yeah.
like 104, 105. That's
He's
crazy. We're throwing 105 mile-an-hour sinkers. I mean, that's cool. But I mean, that's one of the few things baseball has going for it that's actually exciting. I mean, other than that, people are losing interest.
Like the records baseball has now, like on ESPN, like between games, it's like first player to hit a base hit, and like to third base with like 75 miles an hour, 25 degrees, nice sun, a little bit of clouds, clouded northeastern sky right there. Then like in NBA, there's new records every time, like assists, points. It's a newer sport. There's more athletic people coming in there, putting in some more points and more work. But baseball is just hard. There's so many players in there too. Yeah. It's hard to compete.
100%. So hopefully we'll see the popularity kind of go up a little bit in the upcoming years. But,
I will say actually. One more thing about the popularity of baseball. Back in like 2016, the World Series, when the Indians went in there, there was like a whole
best
new
World Series of all time.
There was a whole new craze of fans. I think the fans of America for baseball have kind of dwindled down, but the passionate fans, one that stick with it for life, they have really become a more dense population than the entire population of the entire United States.
I mean, it's not that baseball as a whole is like losing that much audience. It's more just that people tend to get more. There's like a more majority of people who get excited over sports like football and basketball. I mean, for playoff games, they're still filling stadiums for baseball. It's not like there's missing seats up in the top or like the wild card game at Oakland. I don't know if it was this year. I think it was this year. They opened up the they're at that old Coliseum. So like they had the top row of stands above like the regular part that's never filled during the regular season. And they opened it up for the postseason and they sold out. They had something like 55,000 people at the stadium watching the wild card game between the Rays and the A's.
You have to keep on record too. There's 162 plus games in the season. For fans to fill a stadium every time. But in football, in the NFL, there's only 16 games.
In the regular season.
The shorter attention span of people. That's another reason people tend to lose interest in baseball. It just moves too slow, you know. Between each pitch, there's like, I was at a game one time and my friend was like, "Why don't they just throw the ball like once they get it right back?" I mean, they don't understand that there's lots of stuff going on in between each pitch. You know, they're figuring out.
Catcher's got to give the sign.
The coach's got to say, "Okay, it's a 1-2 count. What are we going to throw him here? Where are we going to throw it?" And that takes, 30, 40 seconds, and you're out there for a while.
It's a game of chess. There's a bunch of strategy, a bunch of things you can do.
There's a lot more thinking than there is action, but I mean, that's just how the game is.
100%. So like I said, hopefully we'll get some new fans, maybe from this show. Maybe like, hey, I'm going to be a baseball fan because Connor Langle said it's cool. But,
co-host.
We'll see. We'll
now.
definitely see.
For now.
But, fellas, unlike today, the 1990s saw a boom in the popularity of baseball. I wonder why. But we'll get to that. So, in the year 1997, there were two individuals who were at the peak of their game. There was
Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, perhaps?
Yes. Mark McGwire of the Oakland A's and Sammy
the era
Sosa.
Chicago Cubs.
PEDs.
And they were breaking records left and right. They were on pace to both break Roger Maris's single-season record of 61 home runs in a season. And at the end of the season, Sammy Sosa finished with 66, and Mark McGwire finished with 70 home runs in one season, which is crazy. I mean, Pete Alonso had 53 this previous year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he beat that by 17.
Wow.
Which,
wow.
I mean, that's nearly averaging one home run every 2 games. So if you flip a coin, odds are
he's going to hit one.
He's going to hit a home run, which, again, is crazy. But 3 years later, Barry Bonds broke Mark McGwire's record with 73 home runs in one season in 2001. So people obviously were very excited. People are hitting home runs, right? We love to see home runs. Love to see highlights of home
So
runs.
the game has really changed today.
More home runs?
More home runs, more strikeouts.
And like with the MLB and their more compacted balls with the lower seams, the ball goes farther. I mean, I'm not really against that. If it can get more fans to watch the game and be more excited about it.
We'll get to that.
Then
What?
Sorry.
MLB said, hey, something's going on here. People are getting bigger, right? People are looking weird. Barry Bonds is
looking more buff.
Barry Bonds is
usual.
36 and hitting 70 home runs in a season. Something's not right. So something wasn't right. They were using performance-enhancing drugs,
PEDs.
otherwise known as PEDs, mostly steroids. So what PEDs do is they increase your recovery time. So if you didn't know how you build muscle, you tear down the muscle and it grows back stronger. But if you can decrease the amount of time that muscle has to build back, you can get bigger in a shorter amount of time. And that's what these players are doing. But PEDs also, while they can perform your athletic career, they can positively impact your athletic career. They have a negative impact on your personal health. And the MLB thought this was a bad look. We don't want little kids taking steroids to be like Barry Bonds or Mark McGwire. So they outlawed PEDs, and Barry Bonds right now is not a member of the Hall of Fame, even though a lot of people
I just want to say, Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and all them, they were good before they took PEDs. They did not need to take PEDs, but they
100%.
did.
If you ever want to see something funny, look up a picture of Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds before and after they took drugs.
Dude, Barry Bonds was like an actual
He was a
newborn
stick.
tree. He was a stick from like a
was very
1-year-old
skinny.
tree. Then he came
Back
up
when he
next-
played for the Pirates in the glory days.
Yeah.
1 year ban, he's The Rock. He's Dwayne Johnson. He's a tank.
Yeah, but and he just looked like he got the blow up muscles from SpongeBob, and they went.
Well, anyway,
Michelin tire man.
even though this was bad for the individuals themselves, the MLB was profiting all this to a very large degree. People were interested in baseball now because people were breaking records, people were hitting home runs, the game's exciting again.
Publicity of the PED usage too.
Yeah, but that's more of a negative.
Yeah, what you cited already, like the home run race between McGuire and Sosa. I mean, that was exciting. Like the last month, they were like neck and neck, and people were tuning in to see, oh, was he going to hit another one today? What's going to happen? They want to see who finished higher.
But people have said that athletes should take what they want to take, even though it may be a detriment to their personal health. If they want to take it, that's on them. But here's the thing. It may help the sport, but like I said, it hurts the athlete.
Hurts the integrity.
And it hurts the integrity of the organization, and it kind of puts a stain on the organization. Some people...
Hurts the game.
Sure, it hurts the public opinion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want people taking drugs, being druggies, as your faces of your organization. So some people want to legalize PEDs because it makes the game more exciting. So Connor, what are your thoughts on legalization of steroids and performance-enhancing drugs? Do you think it should be allowed?
I think if you need PEDs, you're a loser. If you need to take anything to make you better than you are now, then you're not that good. You're not good enough. That's what I think.
I think it depends on like what kind of performance enhancing drug they're using. I mean, if it's something that helps you recover from an injury, I think I'd be okay with that. But just increasing muscle mass, it seems like you're cutting a corner there, a little sketchy.
It's just cheating to me. But what you said, I agree with the injury. If you're injured and you take it, then
You're trying to get back from injury. I mean, the game needs its best players. Like if Mike Trout got injured and they're like, oh, you can take this and you'll be back a month earlier.
It's like the NFL. They like, a player gets injured in the during a play, they go out to the tent for like 1 minute, inject him with a bunch of shots and give him a bunch of Tylenol, and they just put him back in so they can't feel a thing. I mean, just kind of how that
But aren't
goes.
those different than PEDs? I mean, people are taking those. The team doctors are giving the athletes. I'm sure over 50% of them don't know what they're taking on the sidelines.
It's just.
I think it's different in baseball because they have an intent to do that and an intent to be better than the other players in the league.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, sports are just kind of business. People are going to do what they have to do so you can get their best players back on the field or make them better. Because the game has to change with time. And if people want to see more action, more home runs, then they're going to do what they have to do. And what they're going to do is PEDs. And now it's a launch angle, which is the non-PED controversy.
It's not. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm like you said, the juice balls.
Mhm.
I think are really contributing to more home runs.
I mean, you can't deny the numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Something's changed in the last few years.
I've
Whether
had-
it's the approach of the hitter or baseballs themselves are winded tighter. But I mean, guys like Trevor Bauer are always complaining about the baseball. Like, oh, what was he talking about? Like the Astros getting higher spin rate or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, they're using different baseballs. It's spinning more. It spins more, moves more, goes faster. And, it's such a minute detail that like the everyday fan wouldn't notice. But he's always into the analytics and like the sabermetrics. He's got like his own he that drive line baseball, like I don't know what you call it, but they look at all like they break it down with like slow-mo cameras, like seeing which way you turn your wrist to get some more spin on the ball. It's crazy. They're going into every single minute detail of a pitch.
You guys have seen Moneyball. It's a pretty good representation of like statistics taking over sports. Not only baseball. There's a lot of statistics.
Didn't Billy Bean like go and work with the Browns too? Didn't he or some
I'm not sure.
some kind of connection with them like to football? Or maybe it was one of his associates, one of Bean's associates. I'm not sure.
Sashi Brown, I think.
I'm not sure.
Brown.
Yeah, he wasn't very good, so they got rid of him. So
Like Freddie Kitchens.
yeah. I mean, I'm really indifferent to steroids. I think it is a bad look to have your athletes taking drugs. But yeah, we'll see. It does increase popularity, but nah. Alrighty, so let's switch to player protection. So there's a lot of incidents over the years on the MLB trying to increase safety and health of their athletes. But there have been a lot of instances where people are severely hurt from the game of baseball. Even though it may not be as much as football or basketball, they still happen. So let's go back to August 16th, 1920. The Cleveland Indians are playing the New York Yankees. And the Cleveland Indians shortstop, Ray Chapman's up to bat, all right? And Carl Mays is pitching. And Carl Mays, I don't know, hopefully he didn't do this with ill will, but he hits Ray Chapman in the head and kills him. This is the only death that has happened in Major League Baseball that has happened on the field and because of field-related injury. Let's go 37 years.
So that was back in the era when they didn't even wear helmets, though.
Yes, and that's probably what...
I actually read about that the other day. I think Chapman was like going in for a bunt, and what was the other guy's name? Mays. Mays was like a submarine pitcher, or at least sidearm, somewhere below 3/4, and he fired up a fastball, and submarine pitchers, they got like a tail on it, so it moves. If it's a right-handed pitcher and you're a right-handed batter,
and if he's bunting, you want to throw it at them because that's...
And you're getting eye level with that ball.
Yeah.
That's the hardest ball to bunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, he caught it right in the temple and he was gone.
Like in football, in the earlier days of the football too, there were so many deaths in the game that even the president got in on the action and wanted to ban football. There's a whole controversy about should football be banned or not. My dad actually made a good question today. He said, "In my generation, will we view football as people viewed the gladiators, like the Colosseum back then, like how violent and how rash it is?" I was thinking, I was like, I mean, it's in a way kind of. I mean, not like to death, but I mean, being all these injuries, CT. The people there's no practice Mondays after the game because they can't get up out of bed.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
I think if I were looking back on it like 1,000 years later, I'd be like, geez, they spent a lot of money on something like a game. That's crazy.
It's entertainment, though. I mean, people will spend money to...
Like the Romans weren't spending the whole budget on the Colosseum. They were
you'd
building
be
armies.
I mean...
slays a line. Get that
I
man a
forget
contract.
which emperor, but in the movie Gladiator, that emperor, I forget his name, but he spent a lot of the budget on gladiatorial fights.
Napoleon?
No,
I don't think so.
I forget his name. But
Napoleon was French.
Let's get back on topic.
The public school education.
1957, the Cleveland Indians are playing the Yankees again. They must have some bad blood or something.
Yankees are just that good.
Good thing Francisco Lindor hit that home run, even though they blew a 2-0 lead. It's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm still crying at night. Herb Score is pitching. If you don't know Herb Score, he was supposed to be the next Bob Feller. Now, Bob Feller's a pretty good pitcher. Would you agree?
Good dude.
The Rocket. Bullet Bob.
Yes. Cool guy, if you ever get to meet him. I think he's dead. My bad.
Actually, no, the Rocket's Roger Clemens.
I don't know.
The Rocket's Roger Clemens.
He's
But
dead,
Herb
right?
Score.
Who, Roger Clemens?
No, Bob Feller.
Oh, yeah, I think he's gone.
Yeah, he's dead.
He was old.
Rest
yeah.
in peace, Bob Feller. Anyway, Herb Score was the American League strikeout leader his first 2 seasons in the league. So this is his 3rd season. He's like, yo, I'm pretty good. I'm going to beat the Yankees because they're bad. Up to bat is our good friend Gil McDougall. Now, if you guys don't know Gil McDougall,
I do
No,
not.
he was a very, very good baseball player in his own right. And he hits a lot of line drives. So this instance, he hits a line drive. It's like, oh, just doing Gil McDougall things, right? I'm Gil McDougall. I'm going to hit a line drive. Well, Gil hit a line drive, and it hit Herb Score, unfortunately. Herb Score immediately collapsed to the ground and put his glove over his face, which you know it's bad.
What position was he playing?
McDougall?
The one who got hit.
Herb Score's pitcher.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this is batter hitting pitcher, not pitcher hitting batter this time.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I should have clarified that.
For some reason, I was thinking he was at second base. I'm like, geez, man.
No,
that's
Is
a
it were you picking
Rocket.
dandelions out there?
Probably
the real-
like dandelions, right?
I can see like a third baseman getting hit in the head.
Yeah, that's the hot corner.
The hot.
The hot corner. Yeah, I can see him. I can see him getting hit.
I played
But-
one game, terrified.
Herb Score, like I said, he was a great pitcher. He collapses, puts his glove over his face, and he is bleeding profusely from his eye, his mouth, and his nose. He also has suffered a broken nose, and he really, after that, he did come back and play, but he was never the same. He was not the same person, and I'm sure that really mentally and physically messed him up. Gil McDougall, he wasn't your typical athlete. He's very compassionate. I think a lot of baseball players get a reputation of kind of being full of themselves. This isn't Gil McDougall. Gil McDougall's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. He didn't even.
Good guy, Gil.
Good guy, Gil.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
What era was this again?
This is the 1950s, 1957.
Yeah, dude, they're all worried about farming. They're out of the Great
No.
Depression. No, Great Depression.
They're in Korea right now.
Yeah.
Domesticated.
My bad.
How dare you accuse Gil of being a farmer?
Sorry, good guy, Gil.
So Gil, he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He goes to his wife, and he tells his wife, I'm done playing baseball. I can't do it. I'm feeling unbearable guilt. I can't do this anymore.
Guilty
Can't play
Gil.
anymore.
Guilty
Went
Gil.
from good guy Gil to guilty guy Gil. Come on.
Guilty Gil did come back and play. He was his typical all-star form. Gil did come back, but he said that really messed him up mentally as well. So that's another instance of a player being severely injured. Probably a few centimeters close to death if he hits him
Right,
somewhere
temper.
else.
There you go.
There have been other instances, such as Brian Fleury in 2000. He got hit by a line drive and suffered a fractured socket on his right eye and a temporary loss of vision. He was one of the lucky ones, people say. Brandon McCarthy also took a liner in 2012 off the head. He suffered an epidural hemorrhage and needed surgery to repair his fractured skull.
Didn't Chapman get hit in the head?
Chapman also did get hit in the head. I'm not sure how severe that was. Giancarlo Stanton a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
got
one.
hit in the head. That did not look good.
Still-
Yeah, hit right in the face, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's why he's got that, he's got that big
right,
guard
it's
now.
like right there. Right, on
Yeah,
his
right in the
cheek-ish.
cheek, yeah.
Chin music. So many other people like Alex Cobb, Jay Happ, Juan Nicasio,
I
a
remember,
lot of people
I remember
have
Alex
been
Cobb.
hit in the face, and I'm sure it doesn't feel good. But even though it might not be as frequent as, say, NFL or NBA, Gary Green, the medical director of the MLB, he's still trying to protect his players, which I think is very valiant of him and honorable. And he said he has been approached several times from companies about protective headgear, trying to protect his athletes. But the athletes don't want them, guys. The athletes don't want to wear a clunky helmet or something that kind of looks funny, to be honest. Even though it may be protective, I'm sure it feels weird when you're pitching with the helmet. Maybe throws you off.
Didn't they try like those hat helmets? Like I feel like I remember like a few years ago they had some guy on like the Nets wore like it was like it looked like a regular hat, but it was just really like buff looking. It was weird. I think his name was like Alex Torres. I don't know.
That's what it's called, like
I
softball.
think
at that
David
point.
Price called him Elephant Man when people were wearing the helmets because, I don't know, maybe it made him look big. But it's really a sticky situation because you want to protect the players, but you also want them to play at the top of their performance. You want them to be able to throw 95, 100. You want them not to, I don't know, it probably doesn't take that much mile per hour off your fastball, but still, you
It
want
takes the focus off.
yeah, you want the players to be comfortable in there, and you want them to be in the zone. So, what are your guys' propositions of player safety? Do you think they should change anything?
I mean,
What are your thoughts?
they got a glove. Use it. I mean, we had a
Bro, some people are hitting like
we had a-
110, 115 exit velo.
You got 0.15 seconds.
we
to
had we had
react.
a pitcher named Big Sexy in our team. Big Sexy was a legend. We were in Austintown, right?
Yeah.
If you're not from Ohio or anywhere near Austintown, you have no idea where that is. It's anyway, he was pitching the game. This kid hit a bullet right back at him, right to his face. Luckily, when he finished his pitch, his glove was just right there, went straight to his glove. He caught it, just walked off. It was beautiful.
It was pretty cool.
It was amazing. I was catching. I was like, wow, I want to be that man. But, I mean, if you're gonna wear like a headgear, might as well just call baseball softball at that point. I mean, it's
Ooh,
just,
careful
those pitchers wear the headgear when they pitch.
That's a big leap in logic, Connor.
I'm just
I'm not sure I
saying,
follow you here.
softball players, they wear the mask. I mean, it's just not baseball. Baseball, it's never been that way. I mean, it's the player's choice, I guess. I mean, if they want to wear headgear, they can. Like Giancarlo wears the extended guard on his
Yeah,
chin.
that's not a headgear, though.
I know, but it's their choice to add whatever they want to their attire if they want to feel safer.
Softball's such an odd concept to me because, like, you know, every other women's sport, like, there's just women's soccer and there's men's soccer. It's the same thing. women's basketball, men's basketball is the same thing, but there's no women's baseball. It's just softball. It's a completely different
Why
game.
don't they play baseball?
That's such a strange
Like,
concept to
their
me. I don't
hands
know.
are like genetically smaller, but like their ball is like 3 times the size of a baseball.
They're also a lot closer though.
Shorter
And I'm
bases, shorter
sure-
mound to plate. Like, I mean, it's just a shorter field, smaller field. I don't know. I think that's just strange how that is. Like they just like I said with soccer and basketball, like, oh, just the same game, and they're like, no, we need to completely change it for women. Like I don't know. That's always been weird to me. Why it's been like that.
I mean, back in remember Mo Williams? Is that her name?
Yeah,
Monet Davis.
Monet Davis.
I thought you were talking
Mo
about the basketball.
Williams for the Cavs.
Not the guy for the Cavs. The
Mo
Little League
Williams.
World
Monet
Series
Davis.
pitcher.
I mean, there are girls playing baseball now. I mean,
Yeah,
if they could compete, then why not let them play?
I want to see Mo Williams on a baseball field.
Mo Williams.
What's he doing now?
He's probably watching.
He's
watching
watching
at home right now.
Mo Williams, if you're watching,
Mo
please
Williams.
like and subscribe. Maybe comment and
Sponsor us.
we'll get
Give
you
us
on the show.
LeBron's number.
He doesn't have LeBron's number.
They were best friends.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, they're on the same team.
I didn't watch basketball that much.
How dare you? So Nick, what do you think? Player protection? Should they wear helmets? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it would be just too difficult. I don't think players would. Anything you propose, I don't
But
think they would do
we
it.
wear helmets when we do indoor bullpens. And how do you think? How do you like that, Nick?
Stupid. You look dumb. They're not gonna do it. It's just part of the risk. I mean, it happens so infrequently. It's not big enough of a deal that people are gonna change something about the game. I mean, people aren't dying every year because people get hit. I mean, you like 2 or 3 times a year somebody gets hit with a liner back up the middle and it's serious. But I mean, no one's dying. So
Besides
So-
Rick Chapman.
yeah, but he was not wearing a
He
helmet.
was not wearing a helmet. Good
He
point.
was also the batter, so that was just, and they figured that out. They changed it. They're like, hey, let's wear helmets now and make it mandatory.
So, you guys don't want to add anything? No.
That's what I got. I don't think that you can
There's
change
not much more to
anything.
add. I mean, you
I don't think you
can't.
can change anything.
It's just opinion if you would like it or if you would not like it.
I mean, yeah,
It's
people
like you
wear
can't
the
say-
people wear
Player's
the
choice.
It's player's choice.
people wear the elbow guards and the ankle guards when they hit. I mean, that's just their
It doesn't
choice.
protect in your head, though.
I mean,
Are we talking head specific?
There are trillions of square inches on the field that the ball can be hit. I mean, for that like
Trillions.
trillions everywhere. Think of everywhere, Nicholas.
And what's my name?
Nicholas. I mean, your head is what, like 30 square inches?
If we do the math here, this is a fraction of it. You see, my face is like 20 square inches, and there's a trillion out
the
there.
odds.
This
the
is
odds-
an interesting way.
The odds of the ball coming at your face are extremely slim. I mean,
I don't know. Some people like to throw it. Who's that one guy who always threw at people?
Was that Ray Chapman?
Huh?
It was in 42. Jackie Robinson. That kid?
Are you talking like modern? He likes to throw at people.
Yeah, he gets pissed off and then he throws at people. Oh, is it Bumgarner? He does what he wants.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I remember.
Pedro?
You remember when Acuna got hit by Jose Arena that one time? Like Acuna led off 4 or 5 straight games with homers, and then the guy in the Marlins was like, "Okay, I've had enough." Then he hit it with a fastball right in the wrist.
They do it intentionally. I don't think they should do that. I think it's kind of cheap of them, but I guess they can do what they want.
Yeah.
And it's just reaction time. But it's really hard to react when you're 60 feet 6 inches away.
You can't really.
Very hard. But what do you guys think? Maybe leave a comment. Give a suggestion. Do you think?
Or subscribe.
No, not yet. Do you think they should have helmets on? Do you think it should be mandatory? Do you think it should be the player's choice? Let us know. So, guys, I like to listen, maybe watch sports talk radio. Do you guys listen to that?
I've heard a few clips
A
of
little
it.
bit ESPN, Fox Sports.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll turn on the car. I'm interested to see what they have to say. But as a baseball fan, I'm severely disappointed every day. Because what do they talk about? They talk about the
Football,
popular
basketball.
sports. They talk about football and basketball. And I'm like, what about baseball, guys? Well, even when the World Series was happening, they're barely covering baseball.
It's like the basketball preseason, football still
Yeah.
it's like the peak of football season. They're talking about basketball, LeBron James, Lakers,
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. I mean, it's. I mean, it's just
Do that again.
Taco Tuesday.
Stop it.
LeBron James.
This is a baseball podcast.
LeBron James can do
No, but
anything.
Can you play baseball like Michael Jordan?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was delighted to see that people are finally talking about baseball on these major podcasts and short sports shows. I'm like, wow, what are we talking about now, guys? Unfortunately, it's putting baseball in a very, I think, negative light, and they're talking about, of course, the Houston Astros stealing signs.
With
So
things that look like these, basically.
Maybe. Who knows? It all started in 2017. Someone on the Astros had a bright idea of putting a camera in center field on a camera pointed at a catcher, and the catcher's the one who gives the signs. I'm sure you can go into it. They give this, I don't know, I'm not a catcher. They give the signs to the pitcher, and the pitcher's like, okay, I'll throw this pitch. Sometimes they'll do what's called a sequence. They'll mix up their signs when someone's in scoring position. Runner in scoring position means runner on second base or third base. So they'll mix up their signs. Sometimes it's hard to read. But if you can decode those signs and transfer them to your team, you have a major advantage.
All it takes is to see the sign and the pitch that comes after that about twice. You can pretty much tell what it is. You have the camera.
Especially if you don't know they're picking up on the sign. Like, be very dead.
With all the stats that they have, they know every pitcher's tendencies, who their catcher is, who their preferred catcher is, what pitches they have. I mean, you just put one and two together, and you get number 3.
You get the sign, and it's over.
Yes.
I mean, you have a major advantage. Anyway, 2017, the Astros put a camera in center field. They're using technology which is against the Major League rule book. Earlier that year, the Red Sox and the Yankees were both accused of violating this offense with the Apple Watch incident. I don't know if you guys remember that. But the Astros are using this, and that same year, in 2017, the Astros won the World Series.
Asterisks.
Asterisks, maybe, possibly. Well, anyway, fast forward to March 2018, Chief Baseball Officer Joe Torre prohibited the use of technology to decode signs. You know, he's hearing rumors. I'm sure he's hearing the inside people. They're like, these people are cheating. You got to say something. He says something. Anyway, the Astros stopped after that was done. They did not use the signals in 2018, specifically with the camera. Maybe they used something else. What they come out with, they had little buzzers under their...
There's a little buzzer under their
That's
right
not
arm.
confirmed yet. That's more speculation at this point.
Well, I saw yesterday, actually, they showed when Jose Altuve hit the walk-off home run.
They didn't want to pull his jersey off.
No, and then he gave the excuse that he said his wife wouldn't like it. So, I mean, you're hitting a walk-off home run to go to the World Series, and the first thought in your mind when you go around the bases is, my wife is going to see my shirt come off. Oh, my gosh, call the police. No.
The shirt should just come off when you're having fun. That's my philosophy.
I mean, okay. Sure, man.
Interesting philosophy.
Okay.
But, I mean, it definitely looks suspicious.
Here, if I watch this video right now, your shirt better come off.
Stop. No.
So you're preaching here.
No, I said when you're having fun. I don't know if they're having fun. Honors 2020, we can't assume things. Okay, fast forward. It's November 12th, 2019. 3 days before my birthday. The Athletic comes out with a groundbreaking report, guys. The Astros are cheating.
Come on.
The Athletic has a witness. A testimony, if you will. Mike Fiers, participant on Aiden Morgan's fantasy baseball team this year. He did okay.
In which he lost to Nick Webber's fantasy baseball team in the championship. Thank you.
It's okay.
After a key trade in week 1, Connor sent me.
Who did I trade?
Domingos
Alex
Santana.
Bregman.
The worst trade deals in all of history.
I gave up after like 3 weeks.
I don't know. He sent me a blockbuster trade. I gave him
It
red
was
hot
so
Domingos Santana for
did
Alex
nothing.
Bregman and Marcelo Zuna from Connor.
I was depressed after that. It was just.
Although maybe my championship should have an asterisk because Bregman was on my team. He was getting signs from the dugout. I don't know. Maybe.
I knew he was cheating. That's why.
So,
Oh, okay.
Mike Fiers, former Astros pitcher in the 2017 season, participant, or, I don't know, player, on the team. He was a pitcher. He's like, yo, the Astros are cheating. This is how they're doing it. So, like I said, they had the camera in center field. They had what they called a replay review room where they would have an employee tell the players what pitch was going to come, because obviously they can decode the signs. And then what they did, this sounds really stupid, but they banged on a trash can, and they would bang twice for an off-speed pitch. Now, like Connor said, in the modern day with all these statistics, you know basically everything that pitcher does, his tendencies, his pitches, what speed they come in.
Even in our high school games, our coaches have like a list of every game and what they're gonna do, what they're gonna throw in certain situations. I mean, it's just baseball is an analytical sport.
You know everything the pitcher's gonna do besides what pitch he's gonna throw. So when you know what pitch the pitcher's gonna throw, it's basically over. And if you look at the road games, the statistics of the Astros in 2017's road games versus their home games, there's a noticeable difference. So all this culminated, and the MLB's like, yo, we got to do something.
Jose Altuve, I saw last night, his home batting average was 443, and his away batting average was like 173.
Again, I mean, this is just still supporting it. This isn't like the end all be all, just statistics. They could just fall like that, but I mean, if you have like this is just supporting evidence.
Yeah.
It's just looking at it alone, but I mean, when you combine it with all the other evidence, then it makes more sense.
These are the facts.
The testimony, you can hear that there's videos on YouTube that go in depth. And
yeah, you can look up videos on YouTube. It'll explain the whole situation, how the Astros managed to steal stuff.
If you watch the walk-off home run with Altuve and Chapman pitching, you can see him clearly sitting back before the pitch even comes on that slider he threw, which he nuked to outer space.
Off of Aroldis Chapman.
Yes. The man smoked a fastball past him. He just blew past it. Then he comes and he sits back on a nice, unpredictable slider. It's like 88 miles an hour. Just cranks it.
So, understandably, people were very mad, specifically Yankee and Dodgers fans. Dodgers were there 3 years in a row and lost. I mean, that's very hard. And you find out the team you lost to was cheating. I'm sure that's very hard. Sorry, Dodgers fans.
And there's talks of like them giving the Dodgers the championship.
Yeah.
Like, if you were like that, if you were the Dodgers, if you were like say Clayton Kershaw, and then they said you win, but you know you didn't win, would you still want that?
No. I would want to earn it.
It's a pride.
I'm sure they.
What do you think, Nicholas?
I mean, it's like saying you take away like the sign stealing, and that means the other team wins. I mean, you can't predict that. The Astros still could have very well won. They could have beat the Yankees without it. And
it's like the PEDs; they don't need them, but they just take them.
I mean, you can't speculate what it would be like without it. I mean, you can't give someone else the championship if they didn't win it, because you don't know if they would have won it without the other team having the advantage.
Well, anyway, this set social media, and
I want that
it's your own fault, man.
Go get it. Go
get the water.
Connor wants water. He's not getting it, guys.
It's fine. I'm doing it for you guys. No, it's fine.
Executive producer
anyway,
Lindsey Morgan.
Everyone's talking about this. So, like, the championship needs to be taken away. People do not like cheating. I don't like cheating. Nick, do you like cheating?
No.
That's right. No one likes a cheater. And MLB's like, we don't like cheaters either, so we're going to punish you, Astros.
Oh, no.
So on January 13th, Major League Baseball announces a 1-year suspension for Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow and manager A.J. Hinch, two crucial pieces in their championship run and long-term success. They also stripped the Astros' first and second round draft picks for the 2020 and 2021 drafts. And they also fined the franchise $5 million, which I think is kind of laughable.
That's just petty cash.
Yeah,
that's slap on the wrist for $1 billion organization.
They probably have that somewhere in their pocket.
The MLB would never take away a championship because of the financial loss they would get.
Well, we'll get to that. Hold on.
It's business.
But owner Jim Crane of the Astros said, this is a bad look. We can't bring back A.J. Hinch and Jeff Luhnow after this controversy. Just can't. So the Astros fired Luhnow and Hinch. They're gone. We'll see them. The Red Sox, they have a manager by the name of Alex Cora. He was also a participant in the 2017 Astros team, and he was fired by the Red Sox, so he's gone too. And also, newly hired manager Carlos Beltran, who was a player in the 2017 World Series and Astros run, he apparently mutually agreed with the
Mets.
New York Mets. Yeah, what did I say?
I don't know. I don't know if you said anything else.
He agreed with the Mets, and he's gone. So that's a total of 4 people who have lost their jobs over this. Some people don't think it's enough. Some people still want the championship taken away. Nick, what are your thoughts? Was this satisfactory? Did you think that the Astros, this was enough?
I think it was a 5 out of 10 punishment by the league. I think they could have done more and still been within their bounds. I don't think you can take away the championship. Like I explained before, it's too much speculation about who would have won without the advantage. I think you could. You use asterisk as a joke, but I think you could legitimately put an asterisk by the championship, being they won, but they also violated the rules, and we don't know how to deal with that. But know that they didn't win legitimately. I think you could put a little footnote on that championship, saying that much. But the monetary fines. I don't think that was enough. I think they could have taken like international money too, for when they're getting players from Japan and Korea or the Latin America, anywhere. That's a big part of MLB teams' budgets right there. I mean, just five in general for a game without a salary cap. I don't think that's enough.
What would you add to that punishment?
Just a bigger fine.
Bigger fine.
An asterisk. Okay. And what was the other? So there's the fine.
They took away their first and second round draft.
Oh
picks
yeah, they took draft picks.
And 21.
I think that's fair.
Which is how teams get their young talent. I mean, you develop these kids basically
in
the
minor
minor
leagues.
leagues for 3 or 4 years, and then they debut.
I think that's fair.
In the major leagues.
What more can you add to that? I mean, they can't ban them from the playoffs because that's just too much of a financial loss. They're not going to sacrifice $30 million just to prove a point. I mean, they can add a bigger fine, like Nick said, or they could add more draft picks, but what else can they do about it?
That'd be crazy if they banned him from the postseason. That'd be so weird. You literally that would be way too much. You literally end what would be the point of playing?
I think that's that's what they should do, but I mean,
that's not going to happen.
The city makes so much money. The city itself makes so much money just off the playoffs. Like the Cavs, when they won the championship, the city made. I mean, parking was over $100 for anywhere, like in a 10-mile radius.
It's a huge economic boost for the city.
Oh yes, it's insane. It's over $1 million every game. What, there's 5 to 7 games? That's $7 million for one series, and they keep going, they keep winning. That's.
Your stomach just growled. Yeah. Sorry, I was just sitting here. It sounded like an earthquake. I was confused. Sorry.
I personally think the biggest thing from the punishment was taking away the draft picks because, it's not going to affect them now, but in the future, they're not going to have that good young talent that other teams may have. So yeah, I think it was a pretty good punishment.
It was aight.
I think they could have done more.
It was aight.
Connor, what would you rate the punishment out of 10? Out of 10 baseballs.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, coming from a Yankees fan, I feel like it'd be more than a 5 that I gave it.
The Yankees,
being my neutral NL Pirates cellar dweller self, I don't have anything to look forward to. I'm a very neutral party in this discussion.
Connor, what was your initial reaction when you heard the team that defeated your team in the championship series cheated? Give us a physical reaction.
A physical reaction?
What was your
That's what I did.
reaction?
I said, I was probably on my phone like this, and I go, I told you. I knew it. I knew they did it. I knew it. I was watching the game, so a little.
No, you didn't. You didn't see anything.
I saw it. I saw the same height guy, Jose Altuve, as me.
Oh my goodness.
He sat back.
Same height guy.
He sat back. Short canes, Nick. We are short canes.
Okay.
He sat back. You can't just sit back on a Chapman slider after a fastball. It's 102 miles an hour and just be like crazy.
Maybe it was just dumb luck. Maybe he guessed.
He's a chop.
He hit the guess pitch, and that would be the show.
Don't get me started.
He scooted up in the box before the pitch. I think that's kind of sus, but who knows?
I think every Astros player should be banned for life. You get Pete Rose, who gambled against his different teams in his own, not even his own team, banned for life. Jose Altuve, I'll come. You want the smoke? I'm coming for you, man. Come on
It's
now.
gonna beat you up.
Jose Altuve put you in the ground.
But
I'll get Roughneck or Door on my side.
Rough Ned.
Ned,
Runed.
Same. Odor.
the man who punched Jose
Destroyed-
Bautista and ended his career, basically.
That man's nowhere now because of Odor.
Or
Rough
because
Ned.
he's like,
Runed.
Rough Ned.
Runed. There's no H.
Really?
Runed.
Runed.
there's a G.
There's a G.
Runed.
I thought it was Rough Ned.
Did
It's
you
not
know?
Rough Ned. I'll give you
Odor.
Rough Ned.
Okay.
So that about wraps up the show, guys, on that illustrious note. So thank you guys for watching. If you watched the whole video, comment. What do we want to comment?
Comment what you want us to talk about
No,
now.
we need a code word so they know.
Comment.
So we know that they watched the whole video.
Short King.
Short canes. If you're a short cane out there, rise up, my sons. Rise up today.
We can't see your head.
Rise up, short canes. I'm here for you.
Connor was actually too tall for something.
I was too tall.
Let's hear
That's
it.
how much.
Yeah.
That's how much we
Big
rise.
3 for Connor.
I had a dream.
So if you watched the whole video, comment Short King for Connor to make him feel better because
Make us feel better.
the Yankees lost and they're bad.
Nope, they're gonna win this year.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, we'll see you.